My name is Joseph Spendlove, and today I'd like to talk to you about binge eating. Now, as such, I would never recommend binge eating. This video is really for people who are binge eating now and really want to get out of the habit of it. Now, basically, a binge eat can be an emotional thing, or it can be a chemical imbalance, or it can be just that your blood sugar's dropped and you're craving food. So any sort of binge eating should be looked at at a deeper level. Okay, it's not just about choosing what to binge on. It is a very deep emotional thing, binge eating, and a lot of it is to do with a lack of love. So when you are feeling unloved, that's when you will dive into the biscuit barrel or eat a massive bar or two or three of chunky chocolate. So I speak from personal experience. If you don't know my story, I used to be 31 stones and I regularly used to binge eat. My parents used to work at Nestle Chocolate Factory. We used to come home with these massive, big tubs of broken Smarties, and I used to literally pour them into my mouth, all the food colouring dripping out of my mouth because I could hardly chew because I had so many Smarties in my mouth. The reason I'm sharing that with you is because I want you to understand that I really do know where you're coming from if out there you are binge eating and you are feeling like nobody understands what it's like. So my advice for binge eating really is to, if you decide you want to binge, okay, or you decide that's it, I'm having a break from my diet, then please do not stop yourself, okay? If you can go and do something else, that's fine. But if you're in the house on your own and you're thinking, right, I'm going to go and do it, then here's my advice. First of all, I want you to get yourself a tray, okay, a laptop tray, and take it into the kitchen and pile onto that tray all the foods that you like, okay, the things that you go for first, second, third, everything. Just pile this tray, even if it's really, really high, and then carry the tray if you can, okay, and pop it on your lap. Sit down somewhere nice and controlled. Just pop it on your lap and start eating. Now, I want you to start eating from this tray, your favorite thing first, and then slowly move down to the next one and the next one. Now, what you'll find is after you've finished a few things on this tray, you will physically see how much you've eaten and you will stop yourself. You'll say, right, that's it. I've had enough. I'm full. I literally can't take any more. And you'll take the rest of the stuff back to the kitchen and put it away again. Or better still, if it's all sugar, then throw it away or give it to a friend. Um, and the reason that is because if you've ever watched any of these television shows where they put on a table, for instance, all the food that somebody's eaten for a week, people are blown away. Not only mentally at the amount of food they've eaten, but maybe financially as well, how much money they've spent on all this processed food. So it's really, again, important for you actually to see how much food you want to eat so you can physically stop yourself, take control and say, look, no, I'm not going to eat all that. I've had my fill and that's it. Um, the other thing to do with binging as well is really go for foods right from the beginning that you really want. So if you really want a chocolate bar, have the chocolate bar and don't feel guilty. Everybody deserves pleasures, and anybody that's been involved with my coaching knows that I live by the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time we eat really well, 20% of the time we can be devil-like as we like, okay? Now, to do with controlling your binges and just making them less frequently if you are binging on a daily basis at the moment, that's to eat protein and carbohydrates together. So if you eat a lot of sugars or a lot of processed carbohydrate, your blood sugar goes up. After an hour or so, it will drop back down. Your body will just crave and crave. So if I had a load of sugar here and I said, right, I'll just keep eating, I could probably keep eating for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, because your body doesn't recognize sugar as nutrients, therefore it will keep on taking as much as it can. If I, for instance, got here some protein, so if I got a whole chicken, maybe some sausages, some bacon, and started eating these sorts of foods, because they've actually got fat in, nourishment in there that your body will recognize. After about 10 minutes, 20 minutes of eating these sorts of foods, your body will start gagging. Your body will naturally stop you from eating these sorts of foods. And this is the biggest problem with binge eaters. They do go for sugars and foods that aren't going to nourish their body, and that way their body will just take it in and in and in. Now, obviously, if you're doing this for a psychological reason and you want to get as much in as possible, then you would go for sugars. And again, that's where you do need to look at the bigger picture and not just what you're eating. Now let's turn this on its head, okay? If you binge like most people binge at the moment, okay, what most people do would be, right, I'm going to stay on my plan. I'm not going to curve. Okay, so you go to the fridge and get a yogurt, then you come back. After 5 minutes, you go back and you have a sandwich. Then after 5 minutes after that, you go back and get a dessert. After that 5 minutes, you go back and get a bag of marshmallows, and it just grows and grows and grows until you've had this whole amount of food. Now, again, if you think back to the tray that I said, you probably will have eaten that whole tray, but because you physically haven't seen it all together, your body doesn't recognize that you have eaten that amount of food. So a lot of these things are to do with actually seeing what you're eating and eating in a relaxed state, and not just binging when you're out and about or whether you're at home with nothing to do. So that's my advice on binge eating. If you've got more tips to controlling binge eating and really living onto a healthy eating plan, then please comment below, guys, or personal message me, and I'd really like to hear from you. For more details of my coaching and the rest of my helpful videos, go to slimbrother.co.uk. Thank you.